Welcome to the Transform My Dance Studio podcast, the only podcast for dance studio owners, where each week we bring you business growth strategies to help you increase your profits, impact the lives of more students, while ensuring you get back some time to have a little life outside of the studio. It's time for you to become the go-to studio in your area. Now, here's your host, founder of the Dance Studio Owners Association, Clint Salter.
Hey there, dance studio owners. Welcome to the Transform My Dance Studio podcast. It's Clint here, and I'm so excited that you're joining us for today's episode. Now, today's guest is a strategist and peak performance coach based out of Arizona, but she doesn't have an American accent, which you're going to realize in a little second. Our guest today is Vanessa Shaw, and she's really passionate about helping ambitious entrepreneurs and business leaders live an amazing and more meaningful life. She's the founder and CEO of the Boutique Business School. And, Vanessa's really focused around how her clients can get more freedom, have more choice, and really have the opportunity to make a bigger difference in the world. Vanessa, I'm so excited that you're joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Clint, for having me. I'm excited for what we're going to be discovering together today.
What are we going to be discovering? So, Vanessa, why don't we start by you telling us a little bit about what you do inside of your business?
So what do I do inside of my business? So, our audience is small business owners, mainly service-based. So we might be working with doctors, lawyers, CPAs, branding specialists, coaches, consultants. Quite a gamut of different services. And, they're essentially coming to us because they want, more money. They need more revenue. They need better quality clients. And honestly, they want more fun as well. A lot of them are just getting burnt out and jaded from their business and getting stale. So we help them, double, triple, at least double and triple their revenues. That's very typical. And get a lot more free time and actually build a business that they can scale so that they actually do have the freedom to do some other fun stuff in their life as well.
I love that. Let's talk about burnout because, this is something that our studio owners face. They're dance teachers turned entrepreneurs. They're passionate about the craft and teaching of students. They get into their business and they go, oh, whoa, I'm a business owner now and I've got to deal with all of these other things. And that can lead to burnout. What advice do you give, your clients around avoiding it or getting out of it?
Gosh, yeah, what a great question. Honestly, we could teach for a week on this one as well. I think
I'm sure.
For sure, because it really is. And again, thanks for bringing it to the forefront because, again, I think it's really rife amongst small business owners, full stop, and there's not enough conversations around it. And as you say, you go into business because you've got that passionate thing that you do, whatever that might be, and then you realize that in order to really get that passion off the ground, it requires so much more. And so one of the things that we're really helping people with in the first place is shifting their mindset. At a fundamental level, and this isn't just a one class with Vanessa and then they're kind of all programmed and ready to go. It's a process over time. But I think a lot of us have been sort of brought up to think that, working hard and just working many, many hours and being in slog and struggle is a good thing versus following our passion and being able to earn really good money doing that thing that we love as well. Mm-hmm. So, one place is to start to show our clients examples, from other people or our own business that it really is possible, to make some key shifts and to start having a lot more fun and not having to work as hard. The next piece from that, though, is then really looking at the structure of how they've set their business up. So again, every business is different. But one of the things that we frequently see with the clients that we work with is that the way they've packaged their services and they've priced their services means that they have got to serve a phenomenally high amount of clients and customers to reach their goals. And therein lies the burnout. It means they haven't got time to market. They haven't got time to fulfill on all of those clients. There's sort of unrealistic goals and they wonder why they feel like they're in the, hamster wheel. So we'll be looking, how do they package their services? How can they actually position themselves to be more at the high-end service provider, not thinking about, this dance studio down the road is doing this, or this branding is doing this, because I would say you've no idea of what's going on behind the scenes in their business. And if you're pricing compared to somebody else, they could be just as miserable, burnt out, frustrated as you are, no profit or very little of it. Now you're copying a model that's already faulty. So, helping them to see that, don't be like everybody else, but be that service provider that really stands out. Like, one of the analogies I often use, Clint, is, like be the Ritz-Carlton as opposed to the Holiday Inn Express. It's the same concept. It's a room and a bathroom and spend the night. And
totally.
It's worlds apart in terms of service offering, quality of relationships, and obviously the price that you can command for that.
Yeah, exactly. I want to ask you though, like what type of coaching do you need to go through with your clients around making that mindset shift? Because there's a definite shift there that they need to make to have the confidence in pricing themselves in that upper tier. So do you have any advice around that?
Yes, and as I say, it's not, I do not believe in this, just study this one quick program and then everything will change, because, if that were the case, success in business would be easy. So for me, it's all about sort of teaching some understanding first and foremost where their mindset is limited in terms of what they even think they can earn and the impact that they can have in their business. You quickly ask a few questions, and we've all got limitations in our own mind. So it's sort of kind of uncovering that first sort of limitation and getting, helping them to think beyond that. And this is not then about going into their heads. Again, a little bit woo here, Clint, but this is really...
That's okay. We like woo.
A little bit of woo. But it's really about getting in touch with their hearts, right? Your head gets you so far, but I think your heart really knows the truth of what you really want, yet it has a much quieter voice. So I'll ask questions like, but what is it you really want? Like if you knew you couldn't fail and you weren't concerned about what other people would say or their judgments, like tell me, what do you really want? And what do you want your business to give you? And that always opens up a very different conversation. I'll do quite a lot of work with people around their money mindset, but understanding the origin of it and sort of like the story that they've inherited around money and its value or it's not, and what it can do for you or what it can't, so that they can also again be aware that that story that they've inherited, typically from parents and caregivers very early on, is probably needing a rewrite or an update. Because if they've bought into this philosophy of things like, I'm never going to have enough and I've just got to work all the hours that God sends and I'll only ever just find myself getting by. If they've really bought into that, then, if they carry that forward in that business, that's exactly what will show up in their business.
So yeah, 100% agree, and it's so powerful. Vanessa, I want to ask you. You talked about like giving your clients more freedom, right? Not having to work, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. What are some of the practical strategies that you implement with your clients around, opening up that time or the shifts that you help them make so that they're not working 7 days a week?
Yeah, great. And I want to just clarify as well, because I have a slight distinction on freedom, is that, freedom for me in our business model, it's all about creating choices. It's not necessarily that they've got their business on autopilot and they're sitting on some, gorgeous beach somewhere and the millions are rushing in, right? Mm-hmm. So it's about choices. So And frankly, money gives choices. Whether you like it or not, it just opens up different choices. When we've got more revenue coming into the business, we can make different hires. We can hire team. So sometimes one of the things that we can do is just by helping somebody package their services differently and price them differently, that oftentimes immediately opens up time. again, an example of one of our clients recently, she actually works in the financial fitness space, and she was so burnt out. And it was her packaging and pricing that was off. And with a few, tweaks, I mean, they were quite generous tweaks, but it didn't take that long to create them. We freed up 40 hours a week for her. I mean, not even 40 a week, it was 40 a week, just by restructuring the way she was offering her services. That's enabled her now to think, just have the space to be able to think more strategically about her business. And it also meant that she's now got the space to actually train somebody else to do what she's doing. So, she's actually going to be moving to the higher level clients, and she's training somebody underneath her to, take on some other programs. So those are just a couple of examples, but it could also be looking at inefficiencies where, systems and automation can help, but there's team real people, but how are their systems and automation set up so that they're not reinventing the wheel the whole time and can train other people to do certain things. So again, they haven't got to worry about it as the business owner.
Yeah, completely. I mean, you've touched on a really good point there around creating systems and processes. It's something that we talk a lot about inside of the association. And obviously to create, the space is having, staff members, having team members that can obviously take away responsibility from you. What do you say to those clients that maybe first couple of years of their business, and they say to you, oh, but Vanessa, I can't afford to get any team members. I can't afford to get, any help. How do you kind of coach them through that?
You clearly heard the same sort of reflection.
Yeah, exactly right.
That I hear a lot as well.
Yeah.
So partly, and that's partly why often that step is sort of repackaging and pricing their services first, so that they can actually see where that money's going to come from. And that's why we often, oftentimes that is a first step. Mm-hmm. Another thing that we'll really look at with them as well is, in a very logical way, is just looking at really what their own time is worth as the business owner. And if they were, to be hiring themselves out as the expert that they are in their field. And so, let's say that they're worth, $100 an hour to do X, but yet they're working on tasks that could easily be performed by somebody that you could pay $15 an hour to. Or, now all of a sudden they've got an $85 an hour shortfall, and you only have to do that several times a week and over a month, and you quickly see where the money's being lost. So, there are times when we really have to say, listen, you've got to trust us on this one, take a leap of faith, and at least start small. We're not talking about hiring team and taking on full-time employees with all of the responsibilities that entails, but perhaps getting some virtual assistants or, a part-time, somebody, it might be a woman that was at home bringing up her kids, and she's looking to get her hand back in and is only happy to work from home for a few hours. But it could be taking on some of that admin support or, scheduling clients, in the case of yours, answering the phone and getting those, kids signed up into their classes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I want to kind of shift gears slightly, because you talked about, helping your clients, double, triple their business. What are some of the key factors or levers that our studio owners can focus on when it comes to, scaling and reaching their revenue goals?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So when it comes to it, it's sort of linked with the burnout as well, right? We don't want to be, imagine if we're kind of fallen out of love with our business. And by the way, that's happened to me on a couple of occasions. So I'm speaking from personal experience here. And the last thing we want to do is scale a business that we're already out of love with. So, because it's just going to lead to misery. So one of the things that we focus on is really building a business around ideal clients and really looking at that business. We actually call them champagne clients in our business. We say they're just a lot of fun and, to work with, and they're high end and they really value you as the expert. You sort of build that trusted partnership together. And so we get our clients to look at, who are those ideal clients for them, the people that they can do their best work with, and the people that potentially would want to work with them and be in relationship with them as a business for, the longer term. And quickly when our clients go through that process, so we call them champagne, wine and beer clients. That's our segment. And it's always a fun conversation. And they literally go through their clients now and look at, well, what are the qualities of the champagne, the wine, the beer? And then we start to get them to look at, how much time and energy are going into those different categories. Now, it never ceases to amaze me that when we go through this with clients, they'll say, wow, those beer clients are the ones that are always nickeling and diming. They don't pay on time. They're demanding. They're whiny. They're this, that, and the other. And the champagne clients that they've typically only got a few of, or, one or two perhaps, they'll say, wow, but they're just the best. They're fun to work with, So at that point, we're helping them look at, so now how do we look at marketing? Let's build the persona or the avatar of that champagne client, and let's think about how you can really market to them so that you're speaking their language. And so that those other, prospects are starting to self-select out. So that's on the one level, right? It's like really having ideal clients so that when we've got more of them in the business, it's a joy to work with them and we don't feel that sense of dread. Now, of course, that's one step. The next place as well is going to be looking at leverage. I mean, it does come to a point where as a small business owner, there is only so much you can do. So this is where, oftentimes we're looking at, what is that initial team to start building, or that one person to get on board to help you, so that as the business owner, oftentimes, marketing needs to be part of their role, but they just haven't had time to do it because they're so busy doing everything else. So we're looking at how do we free up some time so that they can more proactively actually grow their business, be present in the local community, be at trade fairs and speaking perhaps, or be at the schools in your case, in all those different places more visible. They need time to be able to do that.
Yeah, 100%. We always say that, marketing for a business is what oxygen is for human beings. And, for so many of our studio owners, unfortunately, they get so caught up, and probably for your clients, they get so caught up in the day-to-day of the running the business that they don't spend any time actually growing it. So, what's some advice that you have, and how do you work with your clients around knowing what to prioritize and how to make the most of the time that they do have?
Yeah, great questions. I mean, one of the things that we recommend that they do is, even when they look at and this is super practical, but we really look at your week, and I want you to look at right now, how much time are you actively spending in what we call income generating activities? Those reaching out, those having those conversations with prospects, getting speaking gigs on your agenda, or podcasts, whatever it might be, get that bigger reach. And of course, most times it's very, very small. And then one of the things we recommend is that they really have like a business development day. Later on, that might go to, say, a half a day. I mean, a business development day could be still split into 2 half days. But they typically need a chunk of time. You can't think about marketing with just 15 minutes between client sessions.
Yeah.
You just can't. Well, listen, I can't. So, and I haven't found that our clients can. You need a bit more creative space and a chunk of time to work through something. So my recommendation is blocking like Monday, creating like a marketing Monday, not having that where possible as a client facing day, or that's a more limited day. Again, it does depend on the business. But really dedicating and blocking time to those marketing efforts.
Yeah, so important. I know we're running out of time, Vanessa, so I kind of want to ask you, what are the three things you would suggest to our studio owners that they take action on, over the next 7 days if they're really wanting to go to that next level in their studio?
Gosh, 3 things. If they really want to go to the next level, first of all, I would actually define what going to that next level even looks like. Get really specific. If you were there, what would it look like? What would be different? How many clients? What's the revenue? What sort of team? And what sort of life would you be living? What would you, if you had more free time, what would you want to be doing with it? So defining even what it looks like, I think, is an excellent first step. I would really, I think just even going through that, segmenting your clients, like just get a list out and really put them into those categories of, A, B, and C clients, or in our case, champagne, wine, and beer.
I love it. Yeah.
I love to work with, and the ones that honestly, just be honest, when you see them, their phone coming in or an email from them, your sort of heart sinks just a little bit. Mm-hmm. And the other thing that I just cannot say enough is if you're really serious about getting your business taking the business to the next level, you've got to get help. Get coaching, get a mentor, get help from people that are, I think even ideally outside of that, your business, and get, some input from different industries as well, because it can give some just creativity to think about things differently. Mm-hmm. And get help from people that are ahead of you on the same road that you want to be on. Because they can really share with you the pitfalls, the red flags, oh my gosh, we did this, and we knew it was a mistake. And it's the quickest way to accelerate success. And, we all get in our own way, so having those people to help us get out of our own way, I think, is absolutely key to success.
Yeah, 100%. And we've seen that with our mastermind group, with the inner circle, being around, because it can be a really lonely game. I mean, any business, but studio, being a leader of a studio can be really lonely. So ensuring that you're surrounding yourself with like-minded people that get you is so crucial. And like you said, just fast tracks you on getting you closer to that, the studio that you want.
Absolutely.
Vanessa, so valuable chatting with you, and I just want to thank you, for sharing your wisdom today with our studio owners. Where can our audience go to find out more about you?
Yes, best place is to go straight to our website, which is vanessashaw.com. Mm-hmm. That's Shaw, S-H-A-W. And there, we've always got freebies. I think there's a, quick question that says, are you ready to be bold and play bigger? Something like that. And of course, you're going to say yes. And then, you'll get a wonderful little report already that sort of speaks about what we've been talking about today, but gives you lots of free videos and tips and blogs and, real great content, but also stuff to keep you inspired and energized as you're growing your business.
Awesome. Great. Well, guys, make sure you check out the great stuff that Vanessa's got on her website. And thanks again, Vanessa, for the chat today.
Such a pleasure.
Thank you for joining us today. For all the resource links from the show and to receive access to our free dance studio growth training, make sure you visit transformmydancestudio.com.